Well, good afternoon. Usually I say good morning because usually I ride in the morning, but it's just past noon now, about 12:30, and starting to rain. I don't like riding in the rain. My wife and I were talking this morning over coffee, and we got on the subject somehow of homeless people and people that are finding themselves at a bad point in their life, a point of struggle. And I was telling her that yesterday I was out riding, and there's this woman. I was coming out of a parking lot after getting some gas, and there was this woman holding up a sign that said something like to the effect of hungry, need whatever you can give for food. And well, I pulled over and dug in my pocket. I don't carry a lot of cash, that's for sure. I just carry coin, if anything, plug the odd parking meter or whatever. And anyway, I pulled over and dug in my pocket and took out whatever was there and gave it to her. And while I was fishing it all out, I was asking her, so, you know, how has it been lately? And she was saying, well, she managed to pay her rent, so she had a place to live, and damage deposit, so I assumed that she just got a new place to live. And she says, but now I have no money for food. And while she was speaking to me, she was a middle-aged woman, and while she was speaking to me, I could see that, you know, she had her difficulties. You know, she seemed to be shaking a bit, and her speech was halted at times, and you know, kind of giving me the impression that perhaps she had an addiction problem. And you know, people have said to me in the past when in a conversation about this type of subject, you know, sometimes people say, well, you know, these people, you know, they're capable of finding a job, and why don't they just get off drugs, and why do them in the first place and such. But the way I figure it is, you know, given the right set of circumstances, or in this case maybe the wrong set of circumstances, any of us could wind up there, you know, whether it's having a bit of a mental disorder, emotional problems, that type of thing. None of us are immune to that, and some of us are predisposed to it. So, you know, I don't judge these people, and I know that she wouldn't be out there with a sign asking for money on a cold, gray day if she didn't have sufficient problems that drove her to that. So I try to give where I can. I certainly am not wealthy, but I figured she has more need of the change in my pocket, the couple dollars that I could give, than I do. How do you people feel about that? You know, sometimes you see some people asking for money, and you think to yourself, oh, wait a minute, you know, you're pretty capable. You know, you don't seem like you've got problems. Maybe you choose to lose, you know what I mean? And so we start judging. And some of these people that strike me that way, I pass by, I won't give them anything. But the majority of people that are out on the street, it's probably a fact that they can't help but be there at this time in their life. Not everyone is built with a with a mind and a body that can keep on an even keel. A lot of people, their mental makeup that they're born with, or you know, the childhood that they've grown up in, predisposes them to a lot of problems in their life. So I understand that, and I can empathize with those people. So while we're out having all sorts of crazy fun on our motorcycles, maybe give a thought to the other people, to some of the people that we see in our rides, whose lives may be incredibly difficult. I consider myself so fortunate. I'm not disabled. I have a fairly sharp mind. I have the ability to live debt-free. Not that I'm rich, as I've said before, I'm far from it. But I just try to make good choices so I'm debt-free and I can enjoy myself. I can ride my motorcycle. I can do pretty much whatever I want within reason. Fortunately, my desires are simple. I believe in a simple life. That suits me fine because I couldn't afford anything else. It works out pretty good. I follow the best things in life are free motto. It's what I find. Best things in life are free. But you need a roof over your head and food in your belly in order to see that, in order to appreciate it. And some people just don't have that. Well, I am going home before I get rained on even worse. But we've got our thought for today, right? Let me know how you feel about it in the comments. What's your take on people that are homeless, asking for handouts? How do you feel about it? What do you do about it, if anything? No judgment.